Indiana Fever many fans is still poking fingers at head coach Stephanie White for actually making the game not entertaining anymore, bro. This motion offense has to be addressed, and Stephanie White has to be held accountable because it's truly the offense that she's running, and it is not for Caitlin Clark at this point. Now, both Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White spoke to the media immediately.
Caitlin Clark just revealed the truth about what's really been going on behind the scenes, and she didn't hold back. She opened up about her health in a way we haven't heard before, and she also had some strong words for Coach Stephanie White. Was it criticism? Was it honesty? Maybe a bit of both. One thing's for sure, this wasn't your typical press conference. This was Caitlin speaking openly and directly, and it left a lot of people stunned.
I thought at times we could have played a little bit faster, and I think that's on me, like not conceding in that. We still got to play up tempo. We still got to play fast. But I mean, I thought for the most part we did a lot of stuff that coach wanted us to do, and that wasn't why we lost.
I can't hold you, man. That kind of looked like she let that slip out, man. I don't know. But I mean, we all see it. When they play slow, it's just not a good team, man. They're not as good as we see that they could be, right? So they need to play fast, man. I think, they don't necessarily look that good when they're playing half-court ball. Maybe taking something from the Valkyries, man. The Valkyries run, all right? They be running.
Caitlin Clark looks completely worn out, not just physically, but emotionally too. She's pushing through on caffeine and determination alone, while the WNBA keeps making things harder for her. It's like she's in an obstacle course where nothing's fair. The calls are bad, the coaching isn't helping, and the pressure never lets up. She's not just playing basketball, she's trying to survive it.
Take care of Caitlin, not for special treatment purposes, but that's who everybody's there to see. Everybody wants to see Caitlin Clark play. And if you let other teams and other people beat the shit out of her, she's going to spend 2 weeks out injured. And your attendance is going to drop because people aren't going to get the chance to see her. And if you actually want to be paid the same as the NBA players, obviously not by actual dollar for dollar, but for revenue percentage, you need to protect her. You need her to be playing at her best. And
Caitlin Clark has been the face of the league, driving hope, growth, and sold-out crowds. But at the same time, it feels like the referees have made her their target. It's gone beyond just missing calls. Now it's like they're testing how much contact one player can take, from illegal screens to hard hits, before she finally breaks down. And honestly, it's starting to look intentional.
Aces defeated the Indiana Fever 89-81. And this game was disappointing for many fans, not only for the fact that it seemed like the Fever had this one in the bag, but they kind of gave it away at the end of the game, but also because it seemed like there was something off with this Fever team. They didn't have the same energy and spark that we all know and love. So many fans are asking what.
And it's getting hard to watch. The referees barely blow the whistle unless it's against Caitlin. The rules feel completely random, like they're being made up on the spot. She gets shoved? No call. But if she so much as brushes past someone, it's treated like a major foul and she's hit with a suspension. It's unfair, and everyone can see it.
I have figured out the solution to the Indiana Fever's problems. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. This is what we gotta do. We gotta put Caitlin Clark off ball. We need to run a motion offense, so when the defense takes away what Caitlin Clark does best, we have other players that can still perform, so when she does have bad games, we're not completely dead in the water. I think that is the best way to move forward with this Indiana Fever.
What Caitlin Clark is dealing with isn't just tough, it's borderline dangerous. The physical hits she's taking out there would make you think it's a crime scene, not a basketball game. Some defenders look like they're playing with hidden weapons, and the league? Mostly silence. Or worse, fake smile social media posts pretending everything's fine while their biggest star gets thrown around like she doesn't matter. And Indiana? It's a mess. The atmosphere feels heavy, the team energy is low, and the locker room seems more like a support group than a basketball squad. Caitlin stepped into a franchise that feels unstable and poorly built, like it's held together with tape and guesswork. Instead of rolling out the red carpet for one of the greatest young talents, they handed her a mess and told her to figure it out. She's out there trying to run a professional offense, but half the team looks lost. There's no clear plan on defense, either. And head coach Stephanie White? It's like she's making it up as she goes, with no structure and no strategy, just a bunch of plays that go nowhere.
Talk about Caitlin Clark. So she struggled once again in this game. She was 7 for 20 from the field and 1 for 10 from 3, which puts her at 1 for 17 over the past few games. And if you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, you know that this is so unlike her. She is arguably the best shooter in the WNBA, and she is having a significant cold streak over the past 2 games. But her missing shots isn't actually what bothers me. The thing that bothered me most in the game yesterday was the one shot that she passed up. Now, she had been missing a few shots, and if you guys were on my live stream, I said the thing that she needs to do is to continue shooting. Shooters shoot. The only way to break a cold streak is to continue shooting.
Every time Caitlin Clark looks over at the bench, it's like staring into empty space. Coach Stephanie White is waving her arms like she's shouting into a drive-through speaker, but there's no real direction. One minute she wants speed, the next she's yelling for patience. The players look confused, stuck trying to guess which version of the plan they're supposed to follow. And it's starting to affect Clark. Her game, once sharp and full of energy, is beginning to slow. Passes are coming a split second late, her confidence looks shaken, and the quick decisions that made her special are now hesitations. And honestly, who could blame her? She's trying to play elite basketball while dodging elbows and waiting for support that never comes. At this rate, she doesn't need a break, she needs a full reset. Because this isn't just bad coaching or tough games, it's taking a mental toll. The league was supposed to protect players like her, to help them shine. Instead, they're wearing her down. They asked for a star, but forgot to take care of her once she arrived.
What'd you say? Wait, what? Did you just tell me that Stephanie White went on an interview tour this whole entire offseason saying exactly that? Did you just tell me Stephanie White went on an interview? So how come when Caitlin Clark has a bad game, this team looks like absolute dog shit? How come when Caitlin Clark isn't busy backpacking this team, it looks like absolute dog shit, coach? Just a question. Just a question. What we saw today, folks, I feel bad for everybody that had to sit through that. Everybody that wasted 2 hours and 25 minutes watching the Indiana Fever versus the Las Vegas Aces. I feel bad that we had to sit through that. That was a tough watch.
Here's the sad part. Caitlin Clark hasn't even reached her second season peak yet. This was supposed to be her breakout year, the one where everything clicks. Instead, she's stuck trying to survive a mess with barely any support and a team that doesn't fit around her. While fans are shouting for change, league officials seem more interested in tweaking rules than protecting their biggest star. It's almost tragic. A once-in-a-generation player is stuck in the same disappointing game, over and over, like a bad rerun filled with hard hits and missed chances. Meanwhile, Coach Stephanie White keeps smiling in press conferences like everything is going according to plan, a plan no one else seems to see. If things keep going like this, Caitlin could start doubting herself, lose that edge that made her special, and trade her passion for exhaustion. And that would be the real loss, not just for her, but for the entire league.
Well, I think you have to look at things a little bit holistically. I think Caitlin Clark is a really hard player to officiate, much like Diana Taurasi was throughout the course of her career, for a couple of reasons. Caitlin Clark regularly gets picked up in the full court. She also gets blitzed more over the course of her career than any player in WNBA history or in that period of time. And she also creates some contact herself on the offensive end of the floor. She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her.
Caitlin Clark needs a way out, whether it's a break, a reset, or a full-blown escape plan. Because the longer she stays stuck in this mess, the harder it's going to be to bounce back. And this isn't just about losing games, it's about losing who she is as a player. What's shocking is how the league hyped her up from day one, rolling out cameras, sponsors, and headlines the second she went pro. But now? They're letting her fade into the background, buried in broken plays and pointless possessions. She's not just another rookie. She's the reason people are watching. And yet, they're treating her like a backup piece in some endless rebuild with no direction. Meanwhile, Coach Stephanie White keeps tinkering with the lineup like it's a DIY project, pulling Clark off the ball, limiting her impact, and running plays that go nowhere. It's like no one sees what's happening, or worse, they do and just don't care. If no one's going to step in, Caitlin may need to make the move herself. Because this isn't just draining her stats, it's draining her spirit. And the truth is, she deserves so much better. The fans deserve better. And honestly, the game itself deserves better.
Well, I be damned. I be damned. 7 for 20 from the field, 1 for 10 from the three-point line. And look at those turnovers, 8 turnovers. She leads the league in turnovers. But guess what? Her Clarkies are only going to be impressed, and they're going to brag about the 19 points and 10 assists. Me personally, I'm all about efficiency. I'm concerned about those last 3, them turnovers, which she leads the league in turnovers. She is shooting horrible from the field. And as far as them three-pointers, in the last 2 games, she's only made 1 three-pointer, and that's the one.
Unless Indiana finds some backbone, a real game plan, and a coach who knows the difference between strategy and chaos, Caitlin Clark may need to consider moving on. Because right now, we're not watching a star rise, we're watching a generational talent get buried under bad calls, indifference, and confusing coaching. She's out there on the court, but she's not leading the way. Not even close. It's like she's stuck in a role where she's meant to shine, but never allowed to speak. Her skills are still there, but the presence, that commanding energy that once made her the center of every game, is being pushed out, dimmed, and erased. This isn't player development. It's a slow breakdown. She's being picked apart, piece by piece, while everyone shrugs and calls it part of the rookie process. But this isn't growing pains, it's a system failing its brightest hope. And if no one steps in, we'll be left wondering how the WNBA managed to waste the biggest opportunity it's had in years.
That the Indiana Fever were trying to be that team that runs you off the floor, that hustles. I felt like they were the deepest team. Like, looking at the roster, man, they actually have some players that could run the floor. And I'm just like, dang, bro, it's really crazy to see that they're not really trying to run the floor like I would expect them to. And also using Michaela Timpson. Like, that is some young pair of legs, man. You should be using Michaela Timpson to help you run the floor, play lockdown defense, hustle defense, winning the 50-50 balls. You need young legs to do that.
Yes, Caitlin Clark is still showing up. She's still fighting. But you have to ask, at what cost? Every game leaves new marks, not just on her body, but on her mind and reputation. She's running on empty, powered by pure determination, and it's starting to show. The smiles are fading, her posture is tense, and the fire that once lit up the court is struggling under all the weight. And the worst part? This isn't just bad luck. It feels deliberate. Let's not pretend this is only about one team. This is a league-wide problem. She's being thrown into the fire, game after game, with the WNBA standing by like it's business as usual. Opponents aren't just playing hard, they're treating her like a target. And now, it's personal. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, along comes Gino Orima, someone with the platform to support her, or at least offer constructive words. Instead, he delivered a cheap shot. No warning, no context, just a harsh and dismissive jab at a 22-year-old trying to hold it together in the middle of a media storm. That wasn't insight. It was sabotage, unnecessary and deeply damaging. It didn't help the conversation, it just made things worse. And coming from someone who should have known better, it stung even more.
But this is a regular season game. There's no player that's going to be that depressed about a loss. The emotion that she's having right now, that's emotion that you have when you lose a championship. But they didn't lose a championship. So it's only one other thing. It's the coach. I knew something was up, y'all. I played basketball all my life. I played point guard. There was something off about Miss Caitlin when I was watching that Aces game. And I couldn't put my finger on it. It just seemed like Miss Caitlin, she was definitely unmotivated. She looked defeated the whole game. She didn't look like she was having fun. And that is always because of...
And then there's the hate coming from other players, and it's brutal. This isn't just healthy competition anymore, it's turned into something ugly. The elbows, the trash talk, the constant physical hits, it's not even subtle. It's like some players are going out of their way to embarrass Caitlin Clark, as if punishing her for being the face of the league. The fouls? They've become part of the routine. And instead of stepping in, the league seems to be looking the other way, happy to cash in on the drama while the very player driving ratings takes hit after hit. It's turned into a daily nightmare, a toxic cycle where aggression gets rewarded and excellence gets torn down. This isn't about stopping her. It's about silencing her. They don't want Caitlin to lead or elevate the game. They want her to back down, to doubt herself, to disappear into the background. And that's not competition. That's control. It's more than frustrating, it's sickening. Watching a player with grace, talent, and leadership get dragged through this feels like watching a work of art slowly destroyed while the crowd cheers. And if that sounds dramatic, ask yourself this: why is the league's biggest star also its most targeted? This isn't an accident. It's sabotage.
Reason any professional athlete or any ball player is not having fun on the field because this is the game they love. They've been loving this since they was a kid. Because the only reason a player is not having a good time playing the game that they love is because the coach is trying to put shackles on them, trying to control them too much. With a player like Caitlin, you gotta let them loose. This is something that Steve Kerr had to realize when he was dealing with Steph. Steph was shooting all them logo threes. He was shooting all the shots early in the shot clock. Steve Kerr would shake his head. He'd be like, oh, what are you doing? But after a while, he had to let this player do his thing. Bro, that was the first time I ever seen Caitlin Clark walk the ball down the court. And